Mercury indicates the intellect. The what, when, and how we go about saying what we think. It's how we send and receive messages. When the planet of the intellect is found in the earth element, we get a person who goes for substance and who's concerned with practical matters. The earth Mercuries want to build something real. They also tend to be reserved in how much they say and in the expressions they make. When this planet is in the first earth sign, Taurus, you find someone who speaks in simple terms and who tends to think there's a simple answer to everything. This placement is literal. They focus on the five senses. They're sensualists. They move through the environment, tasting, seeing, hearing. They touch more than the other Mercuries. And they seem to know intuitively that humans are like any other animal in nature, in that we have instincts we can rely upon. This placement has no use for abstract concepts. They want to know how something is done and where they get the materials. What Gorgia said about the nature of God is of no real consequence to them. They want to know where they get the blueprint to the shed they want to build and how to bake a flourless cake for the dinner party that's upcoming. Those details, how they go about those projects, tells them something about how to live life. A danger here is that this placement can get fixated only on the simple, rejecting all else as chaos. Avoiding chaos is a serious thing for them because it can't be overstated how few options this Mercury has when met with uncertainty. Mercury and Gemini, they rarely do the same thing in the same way twice, and they have a limitless way to respond to anything. But Mercury in Taurus doesn't know that same universe of possibility, and therefore they must avoid trouble and uncertainty to begin with. Taurus needs no stimulation, and unless moderated considerably by the rest of the chart, it wants to take no real risks. Even when Mercury in Taurus thinks it's taking a risk, it usually isn't. And if they do, it's minor and they have means to fix it if they're wrong. At the bottom of all this is a focus on peace. The bull loves peace, and it knows how to get it by keeping everything consistent and manageable. That's one of the reasons Mercury here uses a simple vocabulary and makes centrist statements. It's less likely to provoke chaos. This means that they are the most likely Mercury placement to fall into a rut, but that's the price of admission. Now, the part of the body ruled by Taurus is the throat. And since Taurus is one of the signs of the zodiac associated with harmony, astrologers are never surprised to find Mercury in Taurus in the chart of a singer, especially those with traditional vocals and operatic voices. I'm talking about the people who leave you drenched in Taurus. Barbra Streisand is a good example. I find one of her quotes to be ultra-Taurian because it speaks to the voice, the simplicity, and the inflexibility of this sign. She said, if there is something authentic about you, you don't have to study people who came before you. You don't have to mimic anybody. You just have a gut feeling inside, an instinct that tells you what's right for you, and you can't do it any other way. And there's a little more on the fixation of Taurus in her saying, I've been called names like difficult and obsessive, but it takes obsession, takes searching for the details for any artist to be good. And how about the sensuality of the sign? She said in an interview, I need sex. I need it like I need air. You see, this placement communicates best when there's no rush and when the senses are being pleasantly stimulated. When she was asked for her definition of success, she said, success to me is having 10 honeydew melons and eating only the top half of each slice. The same way any other animal is made happy by good food and a soft bed to sleep in, so is this Mercury placement. It's natural, it's simple, it's organic. Another factor to bring up here is that Taurus presides over money, the value we assign to this bit of metal and that piece of paper. So many of those bills is worth such and such. Mercury in Taurus usually has a knack for managing money. Finances are on the mind of this placement, and it's not surprising to find Mercury in Taurus speaking about money, like the financial planner and money manager Susie Orman, who says nobody reached financial fitness through a January resolution that was abandoned by February. Stop buying things you don't need to impress people you don't even like. The general idea is to get things under control and keep them under control, and look at the truth. Otherwise, you spin off into chaos. With Mercury in this earthy sign, the advice she gives is straightforward, like don't go into debt for an expensive college degree, and pay off your credit cards each month and spend less than you earn. One thing is clear though, Taurus thinks the first step to fixing any problem is to stop all the bleeding and then proceed in an orderly fashion. Now, we know that Taurus provides over finances, but a lesser known fact is that it presides over the self-value system. It isn't unusual to hear this Mercury placement discussing self-worth and the value of self-love. Love is the most valuable thing in the world, and it's the most luxurious thing we can be a part of. So love tends to be on the mind of Mercury in Taurus. Orman says, true generosity is an offering given freely and out of pure love. Time and love are the most precious possessions anyone can share. She also says, there's nothing more beautiful than a confident woman. Barbara Streisand says something similar. Discover who you are and what you do, and then trust it. You should be indescribable, like the taste of avocado or the smell of gardenia. That's all nice. Is there a downside to this placement? Well, Taurus can be very skeptical due to all their focus on the senses. And they often think, if I can't see it, hear it, touch it, or taste it, that thing can't exist. Likewise, because of their sensitivity to the way things look, their aesthetic sense, this placement is at high risk for vanity, caring more about the look of something than the substance. If this placement has a lot of fears, they can be rigid and cheap. And because they can't process all the shades of gray in life, you can find someone dogmatic. Thank you for watching Secrets from an Astrologer's Desk, Mercury in Taurus. I'm Joy, more videos to come.